Yo, welcome guys. This is day 8 of improving my articulation. So let's go. How to look for the right person? Who you are. The answer to this decide what type of person you would want to bring into your life. The truth is, the more you know yourself, the more power you have to make a better choice. After all, you can employ that knowledge about yourself. What kind of person would be best suited for who I am, and then look for only such people. Now, in all fairness, nobody expect you to know yourself 100%. You are changing with time and experience and discovering new things about yourself. So, to make even a half decent choice, the answer to who you are should be somewhere between you are right now and where you want to be, in short, somewhere between reality and aspiration. That would be the ideal situation. What's the reality? Most pe- most people have no idea nor any inclination to find out who they are. Who they have is either a completely crazy idea about themselves, a fantasy character, or an aspirational ideas about themselves which doesn't take practical reality into account. An example of the first type is I am fucking stud. This moron thinks he is no less than James Bond and girls should be dying at his feet. Another example is I am a queen. This moron thinks he is a royalty or one of the member of the Kardashian clan. The problem is a lots of people really believe their fantasy character, and because they believe in them so much, they are working on making them real on a daily basis. An example of the second time is I am genuine at what I do, and the whole world will one day know about me. These are people who are so detached from their practical reality that even though they are absolute sit in what they do, instead of accepting their current reality, they think the opposite. Now, imagine what kind of parameters such people would be looking for. They have no self-awareness, so what they look for is either attraction or validation of the bullshit they tell themselves. I deserve the hottest person. I deserve a really rich guy. I deserve a person who will blindly believe in me. When rejected, people who live in a fantasy world think their fantasy character needs more work. I am not tall. I am not muscular. I am not charismatic. I don't look like that famous guy. I don't look like that model on the Instagram. I don't have that body yet. I am less inadequate and undeserving until I have these things. When when people who think they are the best get rejected, they simply blame the person. She is dumb, she doesn't get art. He was not intellectual. He was not on my level anyways. He wasn't smart enough. If you want a decent relationship, then you need to quit the bullshit of finding these fantasy people. The incredibility of hot girl or a guy from the movie who is always around, you need to be realistic. What you are looking for should be based on who you are right now and where you want to be. When you start to care about who you are in a realistic manner instead of blindly falling for people, you start caring about who they are. Attractiveness should only be an entry level qualification. It shouldn't be deciding factor. There are millions of the attractive peoples on this planet. So the first question is who you are. Who are you? This means who you are intellectually, sexually, emotionally, and professionally. You can take all the times you want to figure out the first three, and it is up to you to do it. Nobody can do it on your behalf while you sleep. The last part is who you are professionally, which you can find out by asking this question. What is my ambition? What do you want to become exactly? Where do you want to reach? What's my current goal? Short term and long term goals to realize the ambition mentions above. What is the routine I need to achieve my goal? Doesn't need explanation. What are my dreams? Why do you want to achieve that? What is the nature of the line of work I have chosen? How demanding it is? What's the scope for the relaxation? At what age and with what skill set would you have achieved credibility, respect in your field or workplace? The question the question above gives you an idea of where you are and where you want to be. Now you ask the other person the same question, who are you? The first answer they will naturally go is that who they do. For example, I am an engineer. The second answer is whatever gives them an emotional or an intellectual identity. They might cite race, religion, nationality, belief system, ideologies, cause, etc. The third answer is the most important. It is data that deals with their choices, decision and action, to which you must pay serious attention. What they do as a career doesn't matter. What they say they believe in doesn't fucking matter. How attractive they are means it. It is what they have done and have been doing that show you who they are. Therefore, what you look for is, do the choices, decisions and actions they have made in their past and are making in the present ensure the safety and support of your current purpose in life. What pattern do you notice when looking at what they have done and been doing? Do these patterns suggest an approach of carelessness, destructiveness, impulsiveness, or of seriousness, self-control, and an attempt at stability? This approach ends your previous experience with rejection, as you aren't focused anymore on people that fascinate you with their appearance and popularity. On the contrary, you are now engaged silently or vocally in rejecting people whose decision, choice, and action seems either incompatible to you or disagreeable to you. Not only does this bring down the numbers of rejection by a lot, the impact the rejection have almost stopped mattering to you. You are not playing the game of the probability anymore. You are not desperately waving your flag to be accepted by anyone you desire. No, you have put the priorities of your own life on top. If you do find such a person but are met with rejection, the reminders that rejections are normal applies very ap- aptly in that situation, as you must not forget people are weird. I has nothing to do with you. What you have right now is a criteria which is much better than having no criteria, and criteria far better than chasing fantasies. Chapter 7: How your self dies. Side note. It is in side note. It is entirely possible that you may be slightly exhausted from reading the last chapter, but here is the good news for you. The chapter from now on are very interesting, so you need to get that energy back up. We are moving to a new foundational principle like fuck approval, acceptance, and happiness. It is going to be an interesting read. This chapter is a short introduction to our discussion about seeking approval. The warning. Imagine at the crucially transformative age of 13, on one random day, your dad, mom, granddad, or somebody else you trusted sat you down and told you they want to have an important talk with you about avoiding something people do a lot and you are going to do as well. No, it's not smoking or drugs. Here is what it is. Listen up, kid. As you grow up into adulthood, you are gonna meet a lots of people you are really like, and because you like them, you will really wanted to be liked by them, which is fine. It's natural to want to be liked by people you think are great, but there is a thing called approval which you haven't thought about. It's a very dangerous thing, and if you want to be intelligent, you must never forget it. When does it start and how does it work? Well, it starts with your wanting to prove to yourself that you are capable. But there are two problems with that. The first problem is that you are a kid. As a kid, you look towards authority to give you confirmation on whether you are good at something or not. Just like in an exam, even if you know you have done very well, you still wait for the teachers to give you that confirmation. You don't get any satisfaction from simply knowing it yourself. Basically, you don't know how to grade yourself at. So, people you see as capable become that authority. You rely on them and not on yourself to tell you that you are capable and worthy, to prove you are capable to yourself. You start doing whatever they will like. After all, their approval means you are capable. Your inner voices become secondary, their voices become everything. The second problem is, although you want to prove to yourself you are capable, you don't know what to do in life yet. You are a kid. You haven't figured out shit about what you want. So you look at those who you think are awesome and capable, and whatever they are doing become a very practical thing to do to be capable to. And just like that, kid, and just like that, kid, you start doing two things. First, whatever you think will make them like you more, that become anything that will please them. Second, because these people are liked or respected, you want to do the exact things they are doing in the life, basically replicate their career. For example, take all the kids who decided to become doctor because their parents are doctor, only to later realize they don't actually want to be doctor themselves. This could either go very well for you or very badly. Either way, you won't become intelligent, perhaps smart, even clear, but not intelligent, because that's the path of the followers, not a free person. Do you want to be intelligent? Then always remember that whenever you like somebody, there is a thing called approval, and can destroy the individual in you. The murder of individuality. Let's take an example. Think of the last time you felt a deep sense of self satisfaction from doing something. But once it was presented to the relevant authority, teacher, boss, mentor, they were not very impressed. In fact, they thought it was mediocre, or they didn't show any particular delight or excitement in the creation. And that work to you immediately becomes shitty. It slightly broke your heart, and what once made you proud quickly become something that reminds you of failure. When such experience happen, the following changes are made by you. You decided to not focus on the fields of self-satisfaction anymore. There cannot be any satisfaction if it has not been approved by those you want to impress. Satisfaction now comes after their approval. What the self say doesn't matter anymore, only what they say matters. You stop relying on yourself and rely completely on those who know better to tell you what you should do, how to do it, and what's best for you. Your original idea doesn't matter until they have been approved by them. Yourself is not being developed, it is being ignored and treated as an unreliable entity. What is being fully developed is an identity that you think will be liked by those you want to impress. You start working in the direction that will make them happy and which they approve of instead of finding out what will make you satisfied. The result is after a period of the time you become a completely divorce from yourself, from divorce from you self. What you heard from yourself are whisper of what you had like to do. Those are whispers because the voice of yourself has been suppressed too strongly for a very long time. The whispered ideas has no credibility because they have never been trusted or applied. In short, for a very long period of your life, you remain confused, clueless, and always looking for guidance. Either, for example, you can replicate or somebody to hold your fingers and walk with you. You are noticing the word self here. The self is the individual in you. It is the person you don't want to accept or run away from to become different person. It is who you really are. It is who you mean to know better, empower and develop. And since you are not in touch with you, yourself, our first objective would be to unite you with it. Then we will educate that parasitical thought and practice like constantly seeking approval and acceptance which destroy your individuality one by one. We are gonna deal with everything. Let's start with happiness from now. So this was day 4. This was for day 9. Let's see you on the day 10. Till then, keep going. I am rooting for you.